You ever think about how one life choice, one big decision in your life, literally changes the whole outcome of your life? Like everything you knew, everything that can happen, just essentially like this instead of this. That's how I feel when I think about moving from Germany to America when I was 14 years old. Now, I was born and raised in Germany. My mom's German, my dad's French. Life in Germany, it was fragile. I wouldn't say fragile, it was peaceful. It was carefree. It was like a child playing on the playground with the sun out and the flowers and no worries at all. That's how I classify growing up in Germany. You know, I'd be in school, everything would be fun, you'd play soccer on lunch break, you know, healthy food, teachers who actually care, teachers who teach you real things in life that matter, and an education system that you bank on later in life. And so, me in Germany, me growing up, living my life there, being raised by my mom because my mom and dad divorced, he was living in France, I'd see him on the weekends, but essentially I grew up to be a peaceful mama's boy. I loved my mom so much. Anytime she would even mention anything about getting old, I would just start crying. Even at 12 years old, even at 10 years old, I just loved my mom. And I was just a very sensitive kid. I was shy. I was so shy. If I would go to any place and see people playing, I'd be shy to ask if I could join them. I wouldn't even ask. I would just be in my head. I knew nothing about violence. I had never been in a fight. I never knew how to approach a fight, how to defend myself, how to help others. I remember one time I was on a train. You know, every time after school, you know, you take trains in Germany. So I was going to go on this train, and this Turkish kid who was a little bigger than me, same age but a little bigger. I was always super skinny and short. This Turkish kid with a little bit of belly and size, he just started acting weird towards me and talking to me and kind of picking at me out of nowhere as I'm just in the train. And I get out of the train and he follows me out of the train. And he's just like being weird and I'm like, what is going on? And he just literally starts making fun of me and I'm walking, I'm trying to get rid of him. He just keeps following me and I don't know what to do. I've never been in a situation like this. Life in Germany is not dangerous when you're growing up. And so he just keeps following me and he keeps following me. And at a certain point, we're walking down the stairs and I just like look at him and we grab each other. Like he grabs me by the collar and we're on this big flight of stairs and he could have easily just shoved me down the stairs. But as he grabs onto me and I don't know what to do, I'm defenseless. I'm just like, what is happening? I hear a voice come from the top of the stairs and it's my sister. My sister who's a year older than me. She takes the same train sometimes, the same route back home. And she saw it and she yelled at the little Turkish guy who was bullying me. And he saw my sister and he just walked down the stairs and left me alone. That was me growing up in Germany. Innocent, shy, peaceful, just had a pure heart. When I think about me in America, so much has changed, so much. And it's crazy to think who I am now versus who I would have been if I stayed in Europe. I just remember first when I came to America, obviously I was in middle school. And I was not used to it. I was in Florida. Florida is even worse than most school systems in America, so this was extra bad. Basically, my early memories were just, I remember being at lunch, and instead of playing soccer and running around and being so happy playing tag, I was stuck in this big room full of lined up tables, metal tables, and chairs you can't move, and we had assigned seats. You can't go anywhere. You can't move. You have to ask a teacher or an advisor nearby if you can go to the bathroom. And I just remember this was me in the lunchroom. Okay, I'm sitting down. I would just hold my ears closed and close my eyes because everyone around me was cursing, yelling, doing aggressive, weird things, and I just wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to people cussing at the age of 13, 14, 12. That wasn't me. And so in the lunchroom for the first few weeks, I just remember so clearly me just holding my ears closed and being the weird kid who had no friends. I went from in Germany playing soccer, having a cute girlfriend, loving life, coming to America and people bullying me. They made fun of what I wore because I didn't know that you had to wear matching clothes, like color-wise. I'd wear all kinds of colors. And it was rough, guys. It was so rough. Middle school and high school was so rough. I'd hide in the hallways so I didn't have to go to the lunchroom, and hope teachers didn't see me because then they make you go to the lunchroom. That was me. Never had many friends, nothing. My life turned around. And in Germany, I played soccer. I was so talented at soccer. And that's one of my biggest what ifs. Is I just really know that if I stayed in Germany and didn't make that drastic change from Europe to America, I would have been a soccer player. I really would have been. I would have been an amazing soccer player. But then I think of who I am now in America. And I think about the two opposites. Because now who I am is, instead of being a very skinny, you could say beta male, shy, soft-spoken, scared, like not, manly, I would have been that kind of guy. I would have been a soccer player that wasn't really manly but played soccer. But now what happened in America is through all the violence I saw in middle school, all the fights, these big girls beating each other up, even fighting the hall monitors, all this craziness I saw in America, it led me to realizing that life is not like Germany and that I need to do something to change. I don't want to get picked on anymore. People would always make fun of me, call me twigs, noodle arms, this girl could beat you up. I was so skinny, guys. I was so skinny, I was fragile, I was weak. And through the surroundings I grew, through middle school and high school, I was like, thank you all for bullying me. Thank you all for putting fear in my heart, in my eyes. Just another side story. When I first came to America, we lived in a trailer park. My mom had no money. And I remember I was so scared because my dad, he hates America. He's in France still to this day. He hates America. He thinks it's dangerous. He would always tell us how dangerous it is, shootings, bombings. So when I first came here, we lived in a trailer park. I was unbelievably scared. I remember my neighbors were at the mailbox outside. We had shared mailboxes. And I just remember two people standing outside at our mailbox, and they were just talking. And I was so scared. I was like telling my mom, "Who are these people? What's going on? Like, are we in danger?" Like, that was me. And through all that fear and everything, all the experiences, I decided that I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna start going to the gym, and everything is just flipped upside down. Who I am now is I'm not sensitive, I'm not fragile. And there's pros and there's cons because I still have a very pure heart and I treat people well, but at the same time, I just don't care about most people. Because what I learned in America is people aren't genuine and people aren't real. A lot of times, people just talk out of their ass. They say shit that doesn't matter. So I find myself believing maybe 5% of what I hear nowadays. The amount of crazy stories these American people tell me, I did this, I don't even believe them. And most of the time they're lying just to sound cool. And you don't get that in Germany. In Germany, people are genuine. They say things that matter. And so from being in America, I became very cold towards humans, towards caring for humans. And that is a flaw, and I see that and I realize it, and I've also become very selfish. Now, selfishness, to me, still to this day, I don't think it's a flaw. I think it's super important because a lot of people don't get anywhere because they're living other people's lives. And one thing I will keep being is selfish. I will never stop being selfish, but I realize that I've lost a bit of my wholesome, the human inside me, the person that cares about life and other people. And it's just interesting because that wasn't me in Germany. I was caring about everyone and I wanted the best for people and I cared about others and I was soft and all these things. But through working out, through learning how to fight and defend myself, now I'm at a point where I'm not afraid of conflict anymore. I've been in maybe 5 or 6 fights on the street and I'm not afraid anymore. I don't know. It's just crazy to think that the parallels of my life now versus me who stayed in America, continue to pursue soccer. I couldn't do that when we moved here. My mom was dirt poor. We were dirt poor. I had to get a job and work 4 or 5 days a week for the next 4 years, just to afford a car. Nothing was given to me. Just to give you an idea of the person I would have been if I stayed in Europe, I look at my dad. As I said, he hates America. He will never come back here. And he hates Trump. He hates Republicans. He hates that I turned into a person that supports Trump more than supports Biden. He hates that I have Republican values. He loves talking about politics. He loves talking about all these things. And just think about the most pacifistic Frenchman, the most skinny, fragile, non-confrontational, just mind his business person. He's that European man. And is there something wrong with it? No, there's nothing wrong with being fragile, skinny, minding your own business, not wanting confrontations, because you can live that life in France. He lives in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. He has no problems with violence, anything that has shaped me who I am now. And so when we talk and when we argue, I visit him almost every summer, he doesn't understand that living in America changes you and that you have to become a man. You have to grow up. You can't let other people pick on you, and you can't be weak. Because in America, if you're weak, you're going to get taken advantage of. And so me back in Germany and him right now, because he's in Europe and he's not in America, he's that guy that I still was when I was 12, 13, 14. And so it's just so interesting that here I am, completely different person. A lot people in my close circle say I'm cold, I'm a bit heartless, but that's just because of what I've seen and how I wasn't able to live that life I lived in Europe. And the question that always comes from this is, wouldn't I have been better off in Europe? Wouldn't I have still been this nice, genuine person? Yes, I would have. But I would have also been living a lie in my head. I would have been on the wrong side of history. I would have thought that all these things are happening in America, that Trump, all these people are evil, and that they just want bad things for the world. And so, am I happy that I came to America? I don't know. I love who I am as a person now. I am a bit cold, but I'm also realistic. And I do still care about people, but I only care about the right people, because there really is so much trash in this world. The old me would have said all that trash needs to be fixed, but the new me says there's nothing you can do about it. Who's right, who's wrong? It's just something I think about nowadays.